Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. It is our third review of the week. Since the pay-per-view aired on the Saturday, we decided to get this out to you this week. That's right, it is AEW's Full Gear 2023. With me once again, we have Campo, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, wrestling, everything in between. There's the Marvels review, there's a Loki review. He does a bunch of hockey stuff too. We'll make sure you go check out his channel and see his stuff. But before you do, make sure you throw a like on this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us grow this channel. Next year's goal, we want to hit 500 total subs. Let's see if we can hit that goal next year. Tell your friends if you love wrestling content, if you love wrestling, be proud about your love of wrestling and, make sure you share. So with that out of the way, guys, let us get right into this Full Gear 2023.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Since I'm not lagging for once,
Mm-hmm.
at least not yet.
Not yet.
Putty was supposed to be here today and he's sick. So I want to just let the people out there know, for your donation of less than $1 a day, you can save Putty.
You can say
less than a cup of coffee.
Hit F in the chat.
Put F in the chat for Putty.
Yeah. We were looking forward to having him. F for the flu. That's what he has apparently.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Exactly. Cowboy shit, as Hangman Page says. Match of the night. But let us start with the pre-show. We are starting with Eddie Kingston defending the ROH. This time it's the ROH World Championship he's defending against Jay Lethal.
Okay, so I think the pre-show maybe helps us. If the pre-show's really good, it's going to raise the score maybe a tad. But if it's bad, we don't necessarily hold anything against the show for it. When I saw what this match was, I was excited because I know they weren't going to drop the title on a pre-show, but
no,
maybe they're setting up for Jay Lethal to be the Ring of Honor champion, which is something that I would very much like. Especially for how much he means to Ring of Honor and to the smaller companies. And he's on
the level of Samoa
Joe. Than Eddie.
Yeah, and he's on the same level as a Samoa Joe in terms of Ring of Honor.
He's also a much better worker than Eddie Kingston is.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time.
Was this Eddie's first defense of the ROH championship?
I don't remember.
I think it might be.
I feel like he defended it once.
Maybe.
I don't know when.
Because I think once. Maybe because we always see him on Strong shows and on New Japan shows, and he's always defending the Strong Championship, which we'll talk about those titles later on in the show because there are implications with those belts. But Eddie Kingston obviously goes over, like you said, he's not going to drop the championship on a pre-show.
Yeah, it was an okay match.
Yeah. It was what it was. Then we go into our second pre-show match. It's Claudio Castagnoli against Buddy Matthews. Is he still part of House of Black?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's weird because they're doing the tag team thing and he's off to the side.
Yeah, because they're called, what is it? They're called Kings of the Black Throne or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because they are the tag team of the group. And they're trying to push Buddy Matthews now as the solo wrestler.
And he was really good in this match.
Yeah, this match was I shouldn't say surprisingly good because they're both good wrestlers. It just Claudio has become a little stagnant lately where every match is becoming just the same match.
It's a greatest hits match.
Yeah. And I'd like for him to expand, but I get it. He's getting a little bit older and he's doesn't really want to get better. He just kind of wants to be good.
But at least this was a fresh opponent, so we saw something a little different in this match.
I agree. And I was so happy they didn't shake hands at the end.
Yeah, it keeps Buddy Matthews that heel type of
but I also they're both kind of heels, but I also need this feud to continue because I want a full-on House of Black versus BCC feud. That's what I see that I really want.
Going later, talking about what's going to happen later in the show, I think both these guys are going to be participants in that tournament.
Oh, for sure.
They haven't announced it, but I think
when I heard Eddie Kingston, so this match ends, we should talk about this now. Eddie Kingston says that he will be joining the tournament, and whoever wins is going to be the Triple Crown winner because they're going to get the New Japan Strong belt,
the ROH belt,
and the TV title,
and the new Continental Championship. It's a new belt.
It's not a title. Is it a belt? No, I thought it's just like a G1 tournament.
No, it's a new belt, I think.
But then it would be a belt in the same vein as like the Owen Hart one, where it's just like a arbitrary belt, I think.
You think so? I
Yeah,
think
because
this is
I
going to
don't
be.
see a point of having this
So
belt.
I've heard different things across different platforms. I heard it's a brand new belt
I
for
just keep hearing it's like the G1 tournament.
okay, because it's called the Continental Championship or something like that, isn't it? Instead of the Intercontinental, it's
Yeah, so
Continental.
hold on. I'm so
So
confused
you
then.
have the International Championship, which is going to be one of those belts that's going to be
And that would
defended.
make sense why it would be a champion because I forgot the TV title is in its own tournament.
Yeah, it's a
That
separate tournament for the TV
that
title.
would make sense. But so that scares me for two reasons.
Eddie
One,
Kingston's
because we're
winning it
just
all.
Eddie Kingston's gonna win, and that's
Yeah,
so bullshit.
yeah. That's my thought because there's no way they're gonna because he said he's going to be defending all the belts on every match he's in. It now my question is, what if he gets eliminated in the first round? The second person may not defend that belt unless there's
No,
a
I think it's
stipulation.
that's going to be the stipulation. Like if somebody beats him in the first round for the belts go all the way to the end. But in the risk of devaluing the belts, I don't think they're going to do that.
That's my fear. I think Eddie's going to win all three.
I think that I want to know some straight up BS. The finals is going to be like Claudio versus Eddie Kingston again.
Oh no. Unless it's Danielson.
I mean, it could be, and I would like that because that would be a good way to cap off like this year
His
for him.
Yeah, and the fact that he's going to be going to New Japan for
Yeah,
Wrestle
and
Kingdom.
he's going to be part time for the rest of his career. So at least being part time with the Ring of Honor title is fine.
Yeah, which is fine for me. And give Brian, like I said, one more run, I guess, with the championship. With
Hey, and if he does win, let's just say he does win. You let him go to Japan, and when he's in Japan, you put the strong title on the line against Okada. So if when Okada wins, he wins the strong title.
unless he goes to WWE.
I mean, it could be he's coming to AEW and he's going to win both of those. He's going to win all the titles.
All the
It's going to
titles.
be all three titles, and he comes to AEW as a triple title.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm looking up. It's saying it's an upcoming professional wrestling round robin tournament hosted by All Elite Wrestling. So you're right. I think this is going to be like a G1.
so then why did he say that you will be a triple crown champion?
Yeah, this is what I don't.
I'm so confused. I don't care. Let's digress out of this
Let's move out of
situation.
this situation. Yeah. So with that, we have our second title defense. So I noticed the ROH belts are on the pre-show and the AEW belts are on the main show.
Yeah.
MJF and Samoa Joe defending the ROH World Tag Team Championships against the Guns. Samoa Joe is substituting for Adam Cole on the provision that if they win, he gets a title shot against MJF.
Actually, a pretty decent match.
Yeah.
Kind of shenanigan-y.
But that's the
However,
Guns. We expect that from the Guns.
yeah, and that's fair. But I think the way that the match ended, where the Guns lose, spoilers. I think the way that the match went and the way that it ended completely devalued the Guns. Like it made them look so bad.
Which we'll get to that later in the show because you just devalued someone who was so hot and so high.
Oh, you devalued that whole team.
Yeah. So the Guns do lose. MJF and Samoa Joe go over, but in the end, there's that post-match beatdown where they injure MJF, and will he be able to compete tonight?
But that gave me a lot of excitement for the possibility of a title change.
Yes, but then again, I knew he was going to come back out because they announced that it's going to be Adam Cole versus Jay White.
But then I'll when we get there, I'll explain because that's what happens right now. Yeah. Basically, let's just call it. We won't speak about that when it does happen. Let's just say that right now. They basically say that the new champion will be Jay White, and then Adam Cole comes out and says, "I'm going to fight for the title." And then I think, to me, I attach the whole storyline to that, which I'll talk about when we get to the main event.
Okay.
It didn't happen, but in my head, I envisioned
a couple things didn't happen that we were expecting to happen, and we'll talk about that in the post review. So we'll get into our first match of the main card. We have Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland with Ric Flair against, now they have a name, the Patriarchy. Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus. I like it.
I love Christian Cage.
He is so good. Such a
This
great heel.
There was a pretty good storyline going in here if you care for storylines. There's good chemistry between the wrestlers.
Yeah. I like the fact that every time Christian was in the ring and Edge would tag in, Christian would tag himself out, like just to keep that tension and that, you know what I mean?
And it worked. I think there was an element here that was really special. The thing that I found that I didn't like, there was two things. Number one, was like a carbon copy of the CM Punk match when he came in, painted his face, and teamed up with Darby Allin, and it was like the exact same match.
You just substituted CM Punk for Edge.
Yeah.
Or Adam Copeland.
And then on the other side, it was a well executed match. It wasn't like anything spectacular, but it was very well executed. But it was so streamlined and slow paced feeling.
At the beginning, though, I was seeing stuff from Darby that I was like, okay, this is what I come to expect from Darby Allin. This is what I want to see. And then it just turned into like, okay, now I'm just going to do my stunt spots.
And I mean, everyone was fine. Like, don't get me wrong. And it's just the match was so streamlined, and then the post-match stuff that kind of dragged on after coming off three matches on a pre-show. I was like, this is not the way you want to start it. Not that the match was bad, but like I'm already in like slow motion mode now. Yeah. I'm like, oh, what's going to be next? Is it going to be another slow match?
This also featured our second of multiple low blow shots to the nuts of the night.
Yeah,
because we got one with MJF on the guns, and now we had one with Christian on Ric Flair. That was the theme of the night. A lot of nut shots in this episode.
Yeah. You mean you got to have a good couple nut shots, you know?
But Darby Allin goes over. He pins. Darby Allin pinned Luchasaurus on a coffin drop.
No, he did the coffin drop, and Adam Copeland
got the pin. Yeah. That's the second pin he's gotten on Luchasaurus now.
And then it was followed by the beginning of the end tour for Sting.
Yeah.
Like a 10-minute walk around.
Yeah. We saw Rick Rubin.
Looks exactly like him.
Rick Rubin is out there.
Yep.
Ken Jeong from Community was out there.
There was quite a few celebrities, but it is in LA, so
yeah. Anytime it's in LA, Rick Rubin is always there. But one thing I did notice, the lighting was a little weird on this show, and the arena was empty. A lot of empty.
So hold on. I never saw the hard cam side, but all I do know is that the entire side that we could see was full. So I'm not sure what you were looking at. All I could see was full all the way around the
because the stairs blend in with the seats, so you don't notice it. But it wasn't as full as you might think it was.
The crowd was lively for almost the entirety of the show. There's one point which I'll speak on when we get there, but the crowd was like really, really into it. And the one thing I didn't like is I think that venue looks like shit.
It's an old venue. It's the old Forum, right?
The doors in the background were so distracting, how people kept going in and out from the doors there.
Yeah.
And it, like the whole time I just kept picturing like the Raw logo there, and like this is the Hammerstein Ballroom, and it's like because that's how it felt. Like it looks like a really old like
it feels like that San Jose gymnasium that New Japan Strong does a lot of their shows out of too.
It's very distracting because it looks like it has like it looks like a theater upper bowl, not like a stadium upper bowl. Anyways, digressing. Which is weird because isn't the Staples Center right there too? They could have done it at the. It holds about the same. I think they like it better here because it feels more wrestly.
Okay.
I mean, and plus it's probably way more expensive to book an arena that has 3 teams playing in it right now than it is to book an arena that has no one playing in it right now.
That's true. That's true. Nobody plays in the Kia Spectrum.
So, last thing. The camera work here was way better than the last couple pay-per-views. Like they were much stronger, except towards the end, and I'll say it now instead of waiting. They caught a few times of people blading, and I still don't get why they hold shots when they can. Like Tony Khan can see him pulling the blade. Okay, well, I still haven't cut. He cut the camera blade out. He has the blade now. He's holding the blade. You're still showing it, and then he starts doing it, and you're like, "Oh, now I'll cut." You had like 30 seconds to cut away, and you didn't.
I think he does it on purpose now.
Maybe, but the camera work was generally better. There was a lot better cut.
The lighting was a little weird.
Yeah, the lighting was a little weird, but I'm not upset about it. It's an old arena.
So like I said, Sting's the beginning of his farewell tour. Is he retiring at the end of the year, or is he retiring?
Revolution.
Revolution is his last match. Okay. So that'll be a good go. So maybe we might get a Sting
For sure, he's going to be at New Year's Day thing, and he's going to
in
be at
Noah, Wrestle Kingdom.
Noah, and he's going to be at Wrestle Kingdom 100%.
Okay.
That's got to be why he picked this timing to go. There's 3 AEW pay-per-views remaining. He can go to all of those. And guess what? If he wants to, he can show up at the Rumble.
Yeah. Just to like, here you go, guys.
Yeah. I'm sure he would. I'm sure no one would be upset by that.
No.
Like neither company would say no to that. They would all be like, okay, let's do it.
So with that, we are going to go into our first AEW title match. It is Orange Cassidy defending the International Championship with Hook against Jon Moxley with Wheeler Yuta in his corner. This was good.
This was a really good match. This is one of the best matches I've seen Jon Moxley wrestle in a long time, and I'll give it to him. The last 3 matches, including this one, I'm really high on him again.
Yeah.
It's starting to look
when
good.
He's not pushed to the moon with all the belts, you get the good Moxley for some reason.
Especially to get the outcome that we got was very surprising.
Yeah. Which I don't think it was, and I'll explain my theory. It was a decent match, like you said. It was one of the better Moxley matches. Even the Moxley match we watched last week on the tag match with him and Wheeler Yuta against what's his nuts there?
Oh, Finley and Goofus.
Yeah, which is still a good match too. Moxley doesn't go over. Orange Cassidy retains in this match,
which I think was the right choice.
Yes. The reason why I think they did the swap in the first place was because Orange needed some time off to heal an injury. But now that he's healed, they put it back on him. But I do think we need somebody new with the belt. Because
I think your theory's right before I let you finish. I think the Moxley thing was unfortunate, and then the Rey Fenix thing was even more unfortunate. But I think the what you were saying is correct. They were probably going to let it drag out until the end of the year, or whatever it's called, Worlds Collide, and then have him win the belt back.
Yeah.
Give Moxley like a 3-month run and then take it back from him.
At Revolution in March.
No, I think he would at World's End. He probably would have lost it to
who, Moxley?
Yeah,
Orange.
If Moxley never got injured, I think the plan was for him to run with it until World's End,
and then have Orange win it back.
Orange win it back.
Yeah, but it was a good match. I had fun with this match. With that, we go to our third match on the main card, which was the AEW Women's Championship match. Hikaru Shida is defending against Timeless Toni Storm, and I love both these women, and Toni Storm's gimmick is fantastic. I love it.
Time out, but before we get into this, because I want to talk about this.
Yeah,
I just want to say I forgot to talk about this in the other video when we were talking about Wheeler Yuta and where Moxley. We think he's gonna go and like plans. I completely forgot. I have 100% the information. Okay, it came from my own brain, but I know this is going to happen. Wheeler Yuta is going to face Hook for the FTW title and win. They're going to have a feud between each other, and he's going to win the FTW title. That's where that's going. And in here, you saw it again, that they're trying to like start a beef between them. Anyways, back to this match. I love her gimmick. I love Toni Storm. I've always been a huge Toni Storm fan. I think she even looks better than ever. Hikaru Shida's really trying. She no longer looks like angry little boy. They've given her like a full-on new persona gimmick and it's working. And I think it was all just flowing. And this match, surprisingly, I mean, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but the AEW's women's division's been iffy lately.
Yeah.
This match was really good.
We got actually two really good women's matches on this card.
Yeah. I will say though, the ending was dumb because it took so long to pull that off, especially when she ran to do it.
Frying pan or something?
I don't know. Yeah, she ran to go do it, and then Hikaru Shida wasn't in place. She had to turn around and go back and do it again.
But then when the ref went down to count, she's literally looking right at it.
Yeah, I guess. But at the same time, it's kind of like in kayfabe rules, like in Japan, they probably would have stopped the count and Red Shoes would have been like, what's in your pants? But in like kayfabe rules are like, well, if we didn't see it happen when it happened, I don't care that you're holding it, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I will give them so much credit here. And
they did put on a fantastic match.
For the whole thing, he pointed out multiple situations where the commentators covered up for things so well. When there was a little botch, they're like, oh, this is why this happened. Or they acknowledged that there was a botch rather than pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah. And Excalibur has always been good for that. And
Yeah.
so's Nigel.
Yeah, where it's like a lot of times, and WWE is not bad for it anymore either. I think they've gotten a lot better, but they'll do a lot of things like, oh, it
Oh,
was a
he didn't get.
glancing blow.
Yeah, he didn't get all of that drop kick.
Yeah, but here they're like, oh, that he just completely missed with that.
Yeah,
It's because the ground was slippery and
yeah,
anyways, but yeah, this match was pretty good. I hated the way it ended.
yeah.
I hate the fact that Tony Storm won the title, and I'll tell you why. Because you've now devalued the fact that Hikaru Shida is a 3-time winner, just like
Because
you
now
did when she
Tony's
was a 2-time winner. Yes, and this belt has changed hands like 5 times in the last 3 months.
since Julie, not Julia, what's her name? Jamie Hayter had to give it up.
Yeah, it's too much changes. This division is worthless. And clearly, with what happens later, we know that someone is leaving a division and moving to this division,
Mm-hmm.
and probably this is changing hands again.
Most likely. Most likely. Yeah, because it's changed. Let's see how many times it's changed hands since
I could just tell
yeah,
Hater,
yeah,
Storm,
yeah,
Sheeta,
yeah.
the British lady,
Saraya, yeah.
Sheeta again,
And then Tony Storm
and
again.
now Tony Storm.
Yeah.
And
So
that's all
Jamie
since
Hayter,
like summer.
yeah, Jamie Hayter held it for 200 days until she got hurt. And then Tony Storm won it in that match where, remember, that's the only reason why Tony Storm won it. And then Sheeta won it from Storm, held it for 25 days. Saraya held it for 44 days. Now Sheeta's held it for 39 days.
And now Tony Storm is the champion.
Yeah. So.
And I can almost guarantee you that upon return for Thunder Rosa and or Jamie Hayter, one of them is going to immediately win the title. Not to mention we haven't seen Britt Baker in a long time.
Yeah.
And we know how much Tony Khan loves Britt Baker.
Yeah, I think Britt Baker, is taking time off to spend with Adam.
Well, she also was not 100%, but yes, that's probably why. She also was a dentist and makes a lot of money doing that. So
she probably makes more money being a dentist. But with that, we are going to go into our third champion, like back-to-back championship matches. This is the ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship featuring La Facción Ingobernable with consisting of Rush and Drolistico, FTR, the Kings of the Black Throne, which is Malachi Black and Brody King, and Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
I'm going to stand by this period. Why do the LFI and LIJ never work together? They're literally the same faction.
It's the same reason why Bullet Club Gold and Bullet Club don't work together.
But Bullet Club Gold is against Bullet Club. We've never seen a rift between LFI and LIJ. They just don't work together.
Yeah.
I just find that odd because they work same pay-per-views, but they never will do anything together.
Yeah. And I haven't seen Andrade in forever.
Like, you could have a match where Bullet Club is stomping the crap out of LIJ and then the LFI guys come running out to help them or something. Out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
anyways,
so weird.
Yeah, back to
missed opportunities.
Yeah. This match is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There's some wicked spots. There was a ladder pop spot that on Cash Wheeler that was like could have went real bad and it didn't.
Yeah, Brody did the Gonzo bomb on Drolistico.
That looked really bad.
I thought he killed him.
Scary. There was a few spots in this pay-per-view that were very scary.
There's the spot where Cash Wheeler does the frog splash, and I thought he was gonna fall over backwards because he couldn't get his balance.
My buddy was yelling out he's gonna do a 450 splash. I'm like, if he does, they're both gonna die. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It was a great match, fun match. Ricky Starks and Big Bill are really starting to come into their own. They're credible now. They're
both two people that needed credibility because Big Bill has been getting dogged for years.
Yeah.
For how big he is, he's such a good worker.
Yeah.
And Ricky now Starks
the fact that he's clean, and that's now the fact too that Bill cleaned up his life and got his act together. He's in the best shape of his life. He knows the style he has to work as a big man. He's starting to remind me of prime Kevin Nash.
Yeah, he's got it all going right now. He's dating Lexi Naird, and he's figured it all out except for the blue Tims. Those looked really bad.
Yeah, those were
wicked spot though.
Mm-hmm.
Malachi Black with the pop of the ladder off the ropes into
Yes.
Cash. Cash Wheeler took a lot of hits.
He took a lot of hits. But meanwhile, Dax was the one that was split open. A lot of split open spots in this one.
Yeah.
A few
I
people
mean,
were. Brody's face was like destroyed.
oh, because did you see what happened? They missed the spot and he hit his face off the ladder.
Off the ladder. Yeah. He literally cracked his head on the corner of the ladder. So it's like.
But that was a really gnarly spot in it, but it looked good. And like the one thing that bothered me is at the end of the match was over. And clearly we're in big trouble here because Cash jumped off the ladder and landed on top of the other ladder and clearly hurt his leg. I kept saying in my head, I'm like, do not zoom in on his leg. Do not zoom in on his leg. I don't want to see some guy's dangly leg like Darius Martin's having.
Yeah. But what I really liked the fact too was when Ricky Starks was climbing the ladder and they were like throwing each other off the ladder, Bill was there to catch him and put him back onto the ladder. Like
they're working like a tag team.
Yeah. And I really enjoy it. I think Ricky Stark's run with the tag belts is much better than did he have not the TBS, the FTW belt he had, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's much
but that was a really muddled muddled situation.
Yeah.
Like with the breakup of Team Taz. And now it's funny when you look back at Team Taz of Hook, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, who was the other guy, Brian Cage. Like, holy crap, what a unit of guys.
Which we'll see later on in the show. But yeah, this was really good match. Really long match, over 20 minutes, but it was.
But I wasn't upset by it. I kind of didn't want it to end. When it ended, I was like, I could have used a lot more.
Yeah. So with that, we are going to go into our fifth title defense of the night. Chris Statlander defending the TBS championship against Sky Blue and Julia Hart.
So what
do you think of Sky? This is the fifth match on the card. Yes.
Okay, but we'll talk about. You can ask me your question in a sec.
I was going to say, what do you think of Sky Blue's new gimmick? Because they made
it's amazing.
You don't think it's similar to some of the others in the company? Because it's very similar to like Julia's.
No, I think it's that's the point.
Okay. Yeah, because she got sprayed with the mist, right?
We'll talk about this since I'm lagging as crazy. I'll just get it out right now.
It's not so bad on my end, but go on.
So I think that the point of this is there's going to be some like this is where I'm kind of lost in the story. So the way they set it up was like, Sky Blue is going to go bad. She's going to join House of Black. But now that she hasn't joined House of Black and Julia keeps beating her up, I don't understand where they're trying to go with the storyline unless she's going to make her another new kind of House of Black, which also wouldn't make sense. No. But I think the gimmick looks great. I think she looks fantastic. I'm not against it at all. She's a very pretty girl too, so that never hurts anything.
Sky Blue's gimmick was too similar to what's her name there from NXT, the one that's dating Braun Breaker. Cora Jade, yeah.
It wasn't just that; it was also super lame and basic. Like it's like a cookie cutter design that they give you when you come out of wrestling school, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a punk rock skater girl.
But I think that whole thing with the crown and stuff, that was really cool. I like that. Yeah. But like what I wanted to say was you went through 5 matches, or this is the 5th match, I think, and 3 pre-card matches where the crowd was 100% fully into this. The intros for this match, the crowd was popping. As soon as the match started, it was complete silence until the match ended.
Yeah. The crowd was super into this match. This was the
No,
best.
they weren't. This match fucking sucked the life out of this building.
And it felt it for the rest of the show.
Yeah, 100%. And like,
but you were saying that what I meant to say was you're right. The crowd was super into the intros. This was the best I've seen Chris Statlander though in a while.
This was the best they've all been, especially considering how botchy this could have been for 3 people. Julia Hart was definitely the best person here.
Yes.
Sky Blue did pull off a really fantastic, amazing, like out of this world
Code Blue.
Like it was so on point. I was like, holy crap, did that just happen?
Yeah.
It obviously was like a little botchy.
Spotty. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I would never point at this match. I'm sorry. I know you probably liked it a lot. I would never point at this match and call this a good match.
No, I never said I liked it a lot. I'm just saying it was a decent match. It was a good match. This is like we had 2 decent women's matches on this card.
This could have went very badly. And it ended up being a worthwhile watch.
Yeah.
Um,
And we also get a new champ. We finally get some gold on Julia Hart.
and this was such the right move. Like, it's so smart. The only downside you're gonna have now is we were talking about this while watching, is there's two things. Chris Statlander is immediately getting moved out of this division.
Mm-hmm.
Barring the fact that maybe you try to put Willow here, this is going to be a feud between Sky Blue and Julia Hart from now until Revolution. We're going to get like a solid
Yeah.
4 months of these two having kind of botchy matches all the way until Revolution. Mind you, I love Julia Hart. Going through this, okay, Chris Statlander was a really big prospect who kind of just never panned out. She's still good, but, but she's
She
not what
never
she should
panned
have
out
been.
because she's injury prone.
Yeah, and her knees are done.
Yeah, that's why this run with the TBS championship was a test, a litmus test for, basically, if you want to say, like, let's see if you can go a few months with this belt, make a few defenses. If you don't get hurt, then we'll move you to the top division.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard because I do like her. We always liked her, but I think after she came back from injury, I lost my her appeal for me.
The steam.
Yeah, it's just I don't care. I don't want her to win the women's title. I don't. She's not bad, but she's not good enough to be there.
It's
And
something. It's just. I think it's just something fresh to keep in the women's division. I guess.
exactly. So back to the other two, Julia Hart is already there. She just needs polishing, a lot of polishing. She
And
already
that's why
has
this
the
run
whole
with the
thing,
belt is going to be good for her.
which
It gets
exactly.
those matches in.
Sky Blue has a very, very, very high ceiling, but
a
she's
long way
not
to
even
go.
close to being where she needs to be. So it's like it's three people in different places, right? And I mean, Chris Statlander could always get back to her old self just a little bit more. Julia Hart is just like just a little bit of polishing, man.
Yeah.
Her timing on moves is just a little bit off.
I honestly think it's the year and a half that she spent with the House of Black under the tutelage of Malachi, under the tutelage of Buddy Matthews, under the tutelage of Brody King. It's helped her all that much more. You know what I mean? Because if you're a faction and you're always traveling together, you're always working together, you're gonna sit under that learning tree and pick up stuff. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I think, like I said, I think Willow is going to at some point, become the big dog in this division, or Anna Jay is going to get a push because we haven't seen Anna Jay in a while, and they could have her like training, who knows?
Yeah. But who knows? Unless they go back and they give it to someone like Ruby Riott or something.
I mean, I would take that too.
Yeah, because she's stuck in that feud with Daddy Magic and all that, isn't she?
I mean, AEW is in a weird place for feuds, but
yeah. Tune in next week for a state.
This to me is the worst match on the card, and for this to be the worst match means this pay-per-view is pretty decent because this was not a bad match.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like you said, the life was just sucked out of the building.
Yeah, and it does come back, but
it does.
It hits like this point of like you're like this crowd was raging, and now it's just silent.
I think fatigue sets in after a few hours, right? You're already there for 3.5 hours, right?
But at the beginning of this match, the first couple minutes were super slow.
Yeah. What I think this was that buffer match. As much as we love these three, as much as this was that match that's like, if I miss it, I miss it. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? They went for concessions. They went for beers. They went for, like, if we were at the show, this is when we would have gone up to go to the bathroom.
This was our snacks. Willow versus Tony Storm.
Yes.
When we all got up and went to the bathroom.
Exactly. So with that, like I said, Julia Hart is your new TBS championship. This is good things for Julia Hart. She deserves it. She's
fantastic.
Earned it.
I've audibly yelled out when she won.
Yeah. With that, we are going to go to Tony Khan's big announcement signing. And I was wrong.
Was right.
You were right. I was wrong. It's Will Ospreay. Even though he's under contract in New Japan until February,
I don't think he is under contract. Didn't he say he just has he's
under contract
to them to be there?
Because he's still under contract. I looked into it. I did my research. That's why he said you'll see me at Revolution because I have other obligations I gotta.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I thought it was strange that the crowd booed him for saying that.
Yeah. But I don't know. But where does he fit into this now? My first thought was put him in the tournament, but then he said he's not going to be there till Revolution.
I thought, well, actually, I'll tell. I think we have to talk about the main event for me to talk about Will Ospreay.
Okay, so we'll hold off on that then. But he is the big announcement. That also earmarks the fact that clearly David Finlay is winning the belt at Wrestle Kingdom.
Or they're going to let Jon Moxley win, and that's why he didn't win this against Orange Cassidy.
It could be a possibility. All
Because
depends
he's
on
gonna be
what
stuck
happens.
in Japan.
All depends on what happens at World's End, right? So, but I mean, this was good. This was fun. I enjoyed this. It's a good signing for AEW. Better he goes to AEW than he would if. I think the main reason for signing with AEW too instead of WWE, not just the fact that they neuter him in WWE, but at least he can still work those Japan dates when he wants to.
He can work any dates he wants now, and he's getting paid as much as WWE would have paid him.
Yeah.
That's the bonus of AEW, right? That's how you have to look at it. For me, my excitement of this signing was not even that he's going to be in AEW. That means nothing to me. It's that he's not going to be in WWE. It's kind of the situation like Jay White. There's certain wrestlers that like I would love to see them in WWE. I think Jay White as a heel would have been great in WWE, but I think they also would have neutered the character to a point where it wouldn't have been as entertaining as he is.
He'd be like an Austin Theory type of level in WWE.
Yeah.
Or he would have been the top guy in NXT. But then again, you're not getting the money in
He's
NXT.
way too big for NXT. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
And they would have done it. So I mean,
absolutely they would have. So with that, we'll go into our we're up to what, sixth match? There's a sixth match of the night. It is the Texas Death Match, Hangman Page against Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana doing his little dance. Good match. I think this match dragged on a little too much.
I actually didn't mind it. I thought it built up this really weird tension that you don't get often in wrestling, where it's like we weren't actually sure who was going to win. It got to a point where it was like so much.
Well, at the first third of the match was all Adam Page. Like he's stapling like everywhere. He's stapling like on his cheek. Like I cringed when I saw him get stapled on the cheek.
They over stapled.
Yes.
He got stapled like 12 times.
And then he staples himself too.
Yeah, he's not okay. But it told the story well. That like this is like
don't get me wrong. This was still a good match.
This is probably match of the night for me.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
It went a little bit too far at times, and not in the sense of like, I don't know how to explain it. Like
gimmicky too far, or
no, like it just like drinking the blood and stuff like that. Like I thought that was so like weird. Like that didn't do anything for the match. It just was like weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a few runouts. There was some good big spots.
Yeah.
I think
Nana taking the dead eye through the table.
I think the right guy won in the end.
Yeah, this puts over Swerve Strickland wins, and this puts him over so huge right now. This instantly catapults him to a top main event contender.
And I think it should. I think this it's about time that he won a match.
Yeah, and
like a big time match.
Once again, this just goes to show in WWE, Swerve was just this guy who ran, whatever his faction was called in WWE, but never really more than a main mid-carder, whereas now he's climbing up the ladder to become a main eventer.
Like his team in the WWE, knowing Vince McMahon, was probably called like the Wicked G Gangster Dogs.
Like he called, like, what was that, Prime Time?
Yeah, the Funkasaurus Rex. You know what I mean? But I don't know. There was just so many good things in this match. There were a few like cringe spots where like the moonsault to the outside with the chair, and you could see that the chair like rubbed across
with the barbed wire. Yeah.
And then like the Deadeye onto the chair, where you like both of them took that hard.
That rolling power bomb as well on the chair, like, or when he threw the chair at him and it got stuck in his mouth, and he was
the spot with the glass when he power bombed them right onto the glass.
Yeah. But then again, I don't think that's real glass. I think
it's still sharp.
Yeah.
Like, it's not glass, but it's hard, and you landed on it.
No, I'm just saying they're not something like that. They won't get an infection out of because there won't be little bits of glass in their blood.
Yeah.
It's sugar, so it'll dissolve, right? But still, it is sharp. I still like from the other night, the DDT match, those plastic boxes.
I like that. I think that's a really cool gimmick.
But they use the cinder block in this match.
I don't like the cinder block.
No.
I will accept the first cinder block spot when he did it on the apron, but then the picking it up and bringing it over and throwing it at him, and it just like turned into dust. I was like, yeah, that's not
the only time I liked the cinder block spot was the PCO versus Steve Macklin match when he had them on his stomach and he hits him with the sledgehammer. I like that cinder block spot.
Yeah, that's PCO stuff right there.
Yeah. So, Swerve, like we said, Swerve Strickland goes over. The right kid died this time instead of the wrong kid.
Yeah,
so, and like we said, this catapults Swerve to main event. This was like baptism by blood, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Because Hangman didn't need this win.
No, because Hangman's already established, but this now puts Swerve up there. We had the run. The only thing I thought was the run-in by Brian Cage was a little stupid.
But he got his ass kicked.
Yeah, he did.
So then in the end, I was like, okay, who gives a shit?
But yeah. So with that, we are going into our next match. It is the Golden Jets against the Young Bucks. And the stipulation here is if the Young Bucks win, the Golden Jets have to disband. But if the Young Bucks lose, the Golden Jets get their tag team title shot.
But like we talked about the other day, we knew that they weren't going to lose because they're definitely going to Japan as a tag team.
There's definitely going to be a Wrestle Kingdom match.
Yeah, there's no way there's not. If there isn't, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah. Because this could be Jericho's last Wrestle Kingdom, right? So
yeah. So
and Jericho will probably go to Noah the next night too, or he'll probably go to Noah and then Wrestle Kingdom.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I would like it.
Well, I mean, remember we got that photo that Marufuji liked in my comment.
Yeah,
of Jericho and Marufuji. Okay. What if we get a Jericho Marufuji match?
I mean, I would have liked to have the Golden Jets versus Axes, but I'm not going to get that. So,
or Jericho versus Go.
Just someone slap meat. That's it.
Yeah,
just meat.
Which, going back to the one of the previous matches, the crowd was chanting meat when Bill and Brody were in the slap meat.
That's what you want. Just slap that meat.
Slap that meat. So, again, another good match. It teases I don't like the fact that they're already teasing dissension in the ranks between Jericho and Omega. But then at the end,
they did, but they didn't. That was like a misdirection.
Yeah. Well, because there's a spot where Jericho accidentally clocks Omega.
Yeah, but there was like 3 spots where the Young Bucks accidentally kicked each other in the face.
Yeah.
I thought the match was excellent. Like, excellent. There was some really good storytelling throughout when Kenny was like trying to protect them, and he's like, why are you trying to protect them? And then this is the thing. The one thing I thought was odd was that at the end of the match, Kenny out of nowhere like hulks up and is like, I'm gonna kill these guys. Bro, you've been fighting them for 20 minutes. Like, now you decide you're gonna fight them? You've been fighting them the whole time. So what's the difference now?
Even though Jericho was in the match for the majority of it.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I like that Kenny is now he's 2 of the 4 kickouts of the One Winged Angel is by Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
I hated the post-match shenanigans. It went on way too long.
Oh, the temper tantrum. But that's the thing. Like, why are they so upset that Kenny's become friends with Jericho?
This is another thing that bothers me. You got so mad that you lost that match.
You're the one that made that stipulation.
And you want, if you won, wouldn't you have been happy? So it's like, it just doesn't, it boggles my mind. You would have still been friends with Kenny if you won, but because you lost, you're not friends with him. You're the ones that wanted to do the match.
Like, and Nick
Jackson threw his shoe and hit Aubrey.
Yeah. Like, and then they spent like 10 minutes throwing a temper tantrum out the outside of the ring, and like why? What's the point? What are you, like 12?
I was like, that's great. Now someone has to clean all that up before the next match starts.
Which they just finished cleaning the stupid shit that was in the ring from the previous match. But I mean, it makes sense. I think the Golden Jets are winning the belts at what's that event? The World's End.
Yeah, so this is someone told me something, I can't remember who it was, that the Golden Jets will win the belts with this thing, and then there's going to be a rematch where the Bucks are going to beat them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Probably at like Revolution.
Yeah. So with that, we are going to go right to our main event of the evening. We have Adam Cole and Jay White for the AEW World Championship. Starts off, Adam Cole comes out limping in his crutch, and right away I thought, okay, we're going to get a stupid intro of MJF coming back from the hospital. And
So
sure enough,
this is what I thought was going to happen. And I was very convinced of this, that Adam Cole was going to come out, take the boot off, and be perfectly fine. And this whole thing was a shenanigan because he wanted to get the title and he made this all up to get
right
to this spot. And then like we were going to find out he was the devil or something like that.
Right.
But
Which
it
let's
didn't
spoil
go
that.
that way.
We don't find out who the devil is at all on this show.
There wasn't even a mention of it.
No.
Which kind of was like, oh, and then he came out and then he devalued Jay White. I mean, mind you, the match was really good. But
the match was really good, but this is typical, like we say, Moxley booking. Like that's a term now. Like that is going to be.
It's beyond Moxley booking. It's one tier ahead of Moxley booking. It's Reigns booking, where it was like Moxley booking is like you think that there's a chance he's going to lose, but then he wins. Here, you kind of knew the entire match that there's no way he's going to lose, and him having the leg and beating Jay White makes Jay White look so bad.
It makes Jay White look so weak. This is what we were talking about earlier about devaluing one of your top guys in the company, one of the top heels in the company, is the fact that Jay White takes MJF took belt shots, a ring shot, like all kinds of different like low blows. This is our fourth or fifth nut shot of the evening in this match. Like,
and then one ring punch and he was out cold. And MJF took a long time to get to the pin.
Yeah.
That made it even worse for me.
Yeah. And like you said, this devalues Jay White so much. Whereas, like, yes, I get it now. MJF is your longest running world champion, 365 days.
He already was, though.
Yes. But anyways, he's the only one to hold it for a full calendar year now.
I was thinking you have Jay White win here and you use the injury and then also with cheating as a way to like make MJF look good still.
Yeah.
Okay. You have Jay White win. You let Jay White beat him again by cheating again. Then you have it so when Will Ospreay comes, you start a feud between Will Ospreay and Jay White because that's already a built-in feud basically. And you have Will Ospreay take the title.
Yeah.
But what I now think is going to happen is I think when Will Ospreay comes, he's going to face Orange Cassidy for a Cassidy part 2, and he's going to win right away.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Because that match was really good, right? So they know they have something there to do that. Also, just the cover-up of the botch here, which, listen, stop with the breakaway tables. They're so stupid. But the fact that MJF number one had the balls to jump off the top rope to the ground in an elbow drop
with a bad leg,
and a fake bad leg, and number two,
Seth Rollins broken back,
and number two, that Jay White literally didn't even move or flinch at all and took that spot to the ground off the top rope with a 200+ pound guy jumping on you is insane. The two of them are both psychotic for doing that.
Now,
I was I couldn't believe it.
Why is it that they are so high on MJF right now? I'm kind of getting tired of MJF.
I've been tired. You already know that, but it's not. Yeah. I understand why they're high on him. I'm not tired of him as the worker. I'm tired of the storyline. Is so stale now. Now that everyone's injured, it's like, why are we still? We're gonna drag out this storyline just so you can wait till they come back. I know they want Adam Cole to win the title from him, but like, come on, like this. I don't want to wait for this. I don't have another year to wait with MJF being the champion.
It wouldn't have hurt anything. You hold off on the Adam Cole win for a little while longer. You have Jay White win here. He holds the belt till Revolution, which strengthens Jay White so much more, but it doesn't devalue MJF at all. MJF wins the belt back at Revolution, but he doesn't need to hold it as long. He can lose it at like Wembley, or he can lose it at Double or Nothing.
You could have even done it like this, right? Because you can say, let's say Wembley, you wait for Ospreay to win at Wembley. But you have it be like Jay White wins now. Jay White holds the belt till Revolution. During that span, maybe at Wrestle Kingdom, what's it called?
World's End.
Wrestle Kingdom, World's End. You have him face MJF again and beat MJF. So now MJF's really mad about this. He wants the title back. You have Adam Cole comes back, gets number one contender at Revolution. He wins the title, and now the beef between them is that Adam Cole is holding his belt, and he's mad about it. You know what I mean? And then you gave a good solid 5-month run to Jay White.
I really think though they want MJF to be that big solid baby face, which I don't think MJF works as a baby face.
He doesn't need to. I don't get it. It's fine. If they want to do it, it's fine. It's not in the realm of Roman Reigns trying to be pushed as a face, where he clearly worked much better as a heel, and I don't know how they didn't see that. But MJF could do it. Clearly the fans like him. The problem is it's not unnecessary. Why are we doing this?
Yeah. I don't know. This made no sense. The booking made no sense. As good as the match was, I got to take some points away because of the finish again. Just the logic behind it didn't make sense.
I mean, for the most part, for this pay-per-view, I'm very high on it. I think both me and my buddy, when we finished watching it, were like, that was completely worth paying for. That was like one of the most entertaining pay-per-views in a while. But I think the big two negatives for me was the devaluing of the Guns and the the devaluing of the women's title and the devaluing of Jay White in the end. And the fact that Juice wasn't there knocked down the value of the entire Bullet Club by so much. We were like, oh, Jay, for sure, there's going to be a ref bump and Juice is going to come out from under the ring.
He's the one with the ring instead of Adam Cole.
Yeah, and it was like, because there was already a built-in beef between him and MJF, because that was the original feud, right, before Jay White.
Exactly. But I don't know. But with that out of the way, guys. So, Campo, what would you give this show?
No, you're first.
I was going to score it a 7-7, but then by, like you said, devaluing the way some of the finishes I ended up giving it a 7-4.
I was going to be a lot higher than that. I'm going to end on a 7-9.
Okay.
Because I do think...
Wow, we're way off on this one.
I do think no matter which way you look at it, every match was good. It was entertaining from front to back. And on top of it, it added to storylines here and there. It also was completely 100% worth paying $55 Canadian for. Which to me, that's like a telling thing. Like
for anything over, like, even though I gave this a 7-4, I would still say it was anything a 7-5 and over is worth paying the money for, I think.
So you were one notch under being worth paying the money. That's fair.
Which is fine.
But I
get it a little. I got a little workaround because I open up my VPN, so I end up paying 35 US for it, and the conversion is actually a little less. So
I did want to,
because I ordered it through Fight.
I always order through Fight. I don't. I didn't use the VPN, but anyways, that's irrelevant. I just think that I probably would have been in the 8s for this. Honestly, I thought this was an excellent pay-per-view. Especially when AEW this year was like so up and down with quality.
Yeah. But the last few pay-per-views, they've been pretty good.
The last 4 have been good. Revolution and Double or Nothing were kind of stinky.
Wrestle Dream was fantastic.
Yeah.
What did we have? We had the
All In and All Out.
Oh, yep, those were great as well. What else do we have?
Forbidden Door 2.
Forbidden Door 2, yeah. So they've been on a pretty hot streak. So
yeah, it was just the first 2, Revolution and Double or Nothing, were both like, eh.
Yeah. But All In was great. All Out was great. So, anyway.
Mind you, their weekly TV right now is suffering.
Yes, their weekly TV is maybe this was it Continental Collision or whatever it's called. This tournament is going to spice things up a bit. We already have a few. I think there's already a few entrants. We'll go through the entrants if you want. Continental. Let's look it up here. This is live, guys.
Doing it live,
guys. Continental Classic. There it is. So AEW Continental Classic is what it's called. There's going to be, I think it's going to be, was it 16 participants, but only 4 have been confirmed, even though the tournament starts this Wednesday. The guys that are already confirmed are Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston, Mark Briscoe, and Andrade. And it started yesterday, apparently, this Wednesday.
Well, it didn't, but
Yeah.
the internet's just stupid.
As the time of this recording, it hasn't started yet. At the time of this recording, it is going to be on Wednesday.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I
But
thought you were
when
saying the
this
internet
video
said
comes
that.
out on the day it starts, so little peek behind the curtain here, guys. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you go and check out Campo's channel. He has a whole bunch of good stuff out there. Even I'm featured on some of them. Like I said, press F in the chat for Putty. Hope he feels better. And with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.